Right, I know we're all excited, so I'm going to jump right in. So for geometric sequences, we already know a little bit about sequences from the arithmetic sequences. We know that this is a list of numbers, but there's something different about geometric sequences. To get from 3 to 6, we multiply by 2. And to get from 6 to 12, we again multiply by 2. And each of these numbers have to be multiplied by 2 to get to the next term in the sequence. So a geometric sequence has a common ratio. That's a number that you multiply to get from one term to the next term. Right away, we know some things about geometric sequences. We first know T1 is still our very first term. Our Tn is still our nth term, and n is still the number of term. And dare I introduce this new variable called r. That stands for the common ratio, which means the number that we multiply each time to get the next term. Now that we've defined all our variables, I can give you the formula for the nth term of a geometric sequence. That's going to be Tn equals T1 times r to the n minus 1. This again means that our nth term equals our first term times the common ratio to the power of the number of term minus 1. So how do we tell the difference between a geometric and an arithmetic sequence? Well, let's take a look at number 1a. Number 1, part A. We have a sequence that says 1, 3, 9, 27. So to go from 1 to 3, we multiply by 3. From 3 to 9, we multiply by 3, and from 9 to 27, we multiply by 3. This means that the sequence is geometric with a common ratio of 3. For the second one, to get from 8 to 1, we subtract 7. To get from 1 to negative 6, we again subtract 7. And from negative 6 to negative 13, we subtract 7. Since we aren't multiplying by anything, this sequence is arithmetic. And our common difference is negative 7. Let's move on to something a little more spicier now. Number 2, we also classify if this is arithmetic or geometric. Since from going from 160 to negative 40, we multiply by negative 0.25. And from negative 40 to negative 10, we also multiply by negative 0.25. We know that this sequence is geometric with a common ratio of negative 0.25. This is where things get a little more spicy. So we want to write a rule for the nth term of the sequence. I want to remind you guys of the formula that we just looked at for the nth term of a geometric sequence. We have Tn. My first term is 160. My r value is negative 0.25. And I want this in terms of n, so I'm going to keep n minus 1. Now I moved that equation over a little so that we would have more room to write our next problem, which is finding the sixth term of the sequence. You can see in red where I substituted in 6 for n in our equation. And now we solve. I first simplified my exponent, so I got 160 times negative 0.25 to the 5th power, and then I just put it into my calculator and I got 0.16 as my answer. For number 3, we're asked to write a rule for the nth term of the geometric sequence. So I've reminded us of the formula for the nth term of a geometric sequence in red. To fill in this formula, I need T1 and R. So my T1 is my very first term, which is -8 in this case, and my R is the number I multiply by to get from one term to the next. So from -8 to -12, I multiply by 1.5. From -12 to -18, I multiply by 1.5. And I do this between each term. So for my general rule for the nth term, I have Tn equals -8 from my first term times 1.5, which is my common ratio, to the n-1 power, because I want this in terms of n. We're also asked to find T8 once we have this rule. So I plugged in 8 into the parts of the formula where I see n, and I'm going to solve. So again, first I simplified the exponent, and then I put this all into my calculator to get -136.69 as my answer. Number 4 is our first word problem. It says, Serena was playing tennis. After one hit, the tennis ball continued to bounce until it eventually stopped. The highest point of the ball was 6 feet. Each time the basketball bounced, it rebounded to 2/3 of its previous height. The first question this asks is, why is this sequence geometric? I believe it's geometric because after every bounce, we're multiplying the height of that times 2/3 to get our next height. So if 6 was our highest bounce, our second term will be 6 times 2/3. And our third term will be our second term times 2/3. So for this problem, our common ratio is 2/3, or 0.66. Again, we're asked to find the nth term rule for this scenario. Are you guys seeing a theme? So I've written the formula for the nth term, and we're just gonna put things in that we already know. I know my starting height is 6 feet. Whoa. And my common ratio is 2/3, or 0.66. So here my n is number of bounces, and my Tn is the height of the ball after that bounce. The third part of this question is asking what's the height of the ball after it hits the floor the 5th time. So here I've substituted in 5 for n because I want to know the height after the 5th bounce. So here I first simplify my exponent. 5 minus 1 equals 4. And then I put all this into a calculator. 6 times parentheses 0.66 and parentheses to the 4th power, and I get 1.14 feet. This next problem is very similar to number 4. It says a bouncy ball is dropped from a height of 30 feet and allowed to continue to bounce until it finally stops on the ground. If the ball rebounds to 3/4 of its previous height, then answer the following questions. First, what type of sequence is this and why? We know that the sequence is geometric because after every bounce, the height gets multiplied by 3/4, which is our common ratio. And again, could you guys ever have guessed that the next question they're going to ask is to find the rule for the nth term? So again, I've written the formula for the nth term here, and we're just going to fill in what we already know. So we want to find the nth term. Our T1 is our starting place, and the only other number besides R that we're given is 30. So that looks like a really good contender, and that is the highest height. That is the height that we start at. So that's what I'm going to put in for my T1. I'm going to multiply by my R, which is again 3/4. And that is to the power of n minus 1. Our last question, can you even believe it? I'm so sad, is what is the ball's rebound height after the fourth bounce? So wherever I see an n, I'm going to replace that with 4. Now I feel like you can see where this is going. I'm going to simplify my exponent first, and then I'm going to type that into the calculator, and I got 12.66 as my height after the fourth bounce. Now here I want to point out that when I put this into the calculator, I changed this to be 0.75. You don't have to, but that made it easier for me, so I didn't have to do the division or the fraction sign. Congratulations if you made it this far in the video. If you are feeling good and you're ready to move on to your homework, just give me a nice side eye and a good thumbs up with a big smile. If you're still feeling kind of meh and need more practice, you can give me a frowny face and I will come over and help you. Thank you so much for working so hard.